up, everybody? This is VisitJoan, and boy, do I have a story to tell you. You see, what you just saw were two very unsuccessful attempts of me trying to build this house. And that was after several days of me sitting on my butt trying to figure out what the heck am I going to do for this video. Because this is for Simmer Aaron's Simmers Around the World collab. And the idea was that you would do a build from your own part of the world and do your own culture. And the problem with that is that Aaron and I both live in the American Midwest. And I know that the Midwest can be divided up further into like sub-regions, but we're both in Great Lakes states. I mean, I don't know where she is relative to one, but I'm right next to one. So I spent the last couple of days racking my brain trying to figure out what the heck am I going to do. And at first I thought, maybe I could just do a traditional Japanese house. But then I realized, the whole point was to do your own culture. And then I thought, maybe I could do the water park play structure area from the Dells when I was a kid. And, because I had already started working on that. But then I realized, that's going to require a lot of time. I need a lot of debug objects. And I don't even have a complete 360 degree of reference photos to work on. Because apparently you can't find photos of this thing on the internet. So I realized that would require a lot more time than I actually had to do it right. So I was back at square one, and I'm like, what the heck am I going to do? And I finally decided, you know what, I'm just going to do the type of house that I live in, which is a raised ranch. And that's okay if you've never heard of it, because apparently nobody else has either. Well, I mean, other people have, but you search for it online, and you don't come up with very many results at all. In fact, they all just say, like, ranch-style houses and stuff like that, and even Wikipedia has the raised ranch in the ranch house page. And I'm just like, maybe it's only a thing that they do in the Midwest? I don't know. It's just, when I go look at floor plans, I never see floor plans for this type of house. And considering that I have lived in one for almost 30 years, I can understand why. So you are now probably wondering, what is a raised ranch? Well, you know what a ranch-style house is. It's like all one floor. That's really the only way I can think of to describe it. Just single-story, long, thin house, pretty close to the ground. Well, a raised ranch is when you basically take that first floor and you put it on the second floor. So the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, the bedrooms, all of the livable areas are on the second floor, and underneath that is basically just like a basement and a garage, and whatever else happens to be there. In my house, there's an extra bedroom, an extra bathroom, and just like a laundry room, pretty much. Which is actually pretty annoying when you think about it, because, I'm trying to, go to sleep, laying in bed, and I can hear the TV from my bedroom. And it's also the reason that I will never record a facecam video on a Sunday during football season. Because I'm pretty sure you all want to hear yelling in the background. But anyway, you guys, even with all of that stuff going on in this build is technically not a raised ranch, just because in order for it to be a raised ranch, you have to go up a flight of stairs in order to get to the living area from the entrance of the house. Yes, there's a stairs going up to the front door, and then there's stairs going up to the living area. And that was the problem, because there is absolutely no way to do that in The Sims. And I probably spent a good hour trying to attempt it, as you can see. And I knew from the beginning that this front door would not be functional. But the customizable stairs were, perfect for this. And, I tried a couple of things. I tried, raising the terrain up to a level to where the, little landing area of the stairs are. And that didn't work because I couldn't get the terrain to be level to the house. And then I couldn't put the foundation right up against the house. It's like, no, these foundations are two different heights. You can't connect them. Then I tried raising the terrain first, and then putting, the main floor with the walls, and then having the, the basement garage area be in the foundation. And that didn't work either, because when I put the basement in, the terrain just automatically, well, let's just say now it went right up against the walls. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? But anyway, in the end, I just threw my hands up in the air and said, I'm done. I'm just making this like a 2-story house. And I'm just going to call it a raised ranch because that's what it's supposed to be designed as. But, if you're one of those technical people, don't blame me. Blame the sim gurus for programming this game so you can't do this. See, and this is why I've never actually created my real house in The Sims 4. Because I can't. Okay, but now that little rant is out of the way, let's talk about what it was like growing up in one of these things. So as a kid, I always really considered my house a one-story house, even though it technically is two, because really there is only one story that is pretty much, the living area. And I remember this one time in elementary school, I don't exactly remember what grade it was, we were filling out this, I don't even know what the heck it was. It was like this questionnaire thing about yourself, and it was like, what kind of home do you live in? I'm like, I live in a single-story home. And I have no idea where my teacher got this idea that it wasn't a single-story home, but somehow she knew it wasn't and kind of called me out on it. And I'm like, well, there's only really one main floor, so we kind of just put like arrows to the two different houses, and just it's like a combination of this. And as a kid, I'm not gonna lie, I was really kind of jealous of my neighbors who lived in normal houses, because, like, that just kind of sounds weird considering you've heard me say, I want to live in a tree house, I want to live in space, and I like these really weird, atypical houses and stuff like that. When I was a kid, I really just wanted to live in the typical two-story house where the bedrooms were on the second floor, just like not everybody else, because there were plenty of houses like this on the street where I live. But I don't know, I just felt like my house was just weird and unusual, and I still kind of think it is a little bit. But anyway, now that I finally figured out what the heck it was I was going to do, my next challenge was making it not look stupid, because a lot of the houses that I know that are of this style, including my own, are pretty much one big rectangle. And although a lot of houses in real life are one big rectangle, and they look fine in reality, in The Sims, they just look like some 5-year-old just slapped them together and said, okay, here's my build. I mean, the exception, I think, are just like the couple of houses that were like that in Strange Town from The Sims 2, but generally, I used to build houses like that, and I could never understand why they looked so simple and so dumb in this game. And then I finally figured it out. I'm like, oh yeah, this game was meant for, big houses. So like when I build a typical house in The Sims, and then I show my mom, she's like, oh my goodness, that's a huge house. I mean, she said that about the Pleasant family home. So long story short, I had to find a floor plan that did not look like a giant box. And I actually did find one, and it was pretty, fairly diverse. I mean, there was no side that was completely flat, well, except for the side where I decided to put the garage, but I don't think it was originally planned to be a raised ranch. I think it was just like a ranch floor plan, but like I said, I just moved it up to the second floor and put the garage under it. But even when I built this house in The Sims, and I had it already, and I've always had problems where when I tried to build a house in The Sims based off a real floor plan, I can never get it right. It always looks like I screwed up somehow, like everything is just, like some walls are too short, some walls are too long, and, it wasn't until I started, like, recreating the, houses from The Sims 2, where I had these square, and I could go square by square and count them, that I really started to actually proportion things correctly. And let's just take a moment to say that some of the buildings I built from scratch now look better than what this thing looked like after I was done building it. So, you know what? I went to the painstaking work of going through and just trying to, make sure it actually looked like a house, like somebody put time and effort into it. And I think a lot of that is just adding the little fancy details that, a lot of people like skip over, like outdoor porch lights. I usually forget those. I remembered to add them in. I put columns there, and yes, I had to deal with that really column glitch, but you know what? It's just a minor inconvenience. I know how to fix it, so I'm not going to complain. But, and then I put, like, whatchamacallit? I put a bunch of, oh boy, plants. There we go. I'm losing my mind. It is 8:30 at night. I really need to go to bed. But, I put a bunch of plants on the walls to kind of hide the fact, because, normally these houses would be built on a hill. But since that really isn't possible, since I already tried that and it turned out looking even worse than what I had, I kind of had to cover up the fact that there were no windows on, like, the basement area, because that wasn't even livable space. That was just space to support the rest of the house. So I kind of put, like, a bunch of bushes there, a bunch of ivy growing on the walls, all of that good stuff. But now moving on to the interior, I was trying to figure out what color I was actually going to do the living area. I put like a little red swatch along the back window there, and I actually liked the way it looked. So I was just playing around with it, and I decided, you know what, why don't we do kind of like a primary, like, I don't know, like red color screen. Color scream? Oh my goodness. I know, guys, I know, Aaron's going to hate me, but you know what, that's just the way it is. So yes, I decided to go with red kind of for the living room and then maybe like a neutral tone in the kitchen. I'm not really a big fan of neutrals at all in houses because I live in a house with like that's mostly like neutral. It's just I just get sick of it, and but I think for the kitchen it worked out pretty well. And when I was, trying to whatchamacallit, lay out the floor plan for the house, the floor plan actually had the different areas of the master bathroom, and it had like a space for like a walk-in closet, which is good because of the Machino stuff. We actually have a little rack there, along with other wardrobes and stuff that we have, and I was gonna put a closet in the bathroom, like one of those closets that the Sims can use that came with Get Together. But I decided, you know what, that would be a much better place to put a bathtub, since I feel like the master bathroom should have both a shower and a bathtub, and it was hard to fit a bathtub in that little area with the toilet. So I put the bathtub out here, and I put like a little shower. Well, you guys are seeing that right now, so I don't need to be telling you all of this stuff. Anyway, you guys, the family I put in this house, I had created before and just never really gave them a home. I mean, I think I originally created them for the Fortree City house, but then I decided I didn't really like that idea. I don't exactly know why. This was like a month ago. I don't remember exactly what was going on through my mind at that point. So, you know what? I just decided, why don't you put them in here? It's a couple with their 3 children, 2 children, and oh, that sounds so redundant. 2 kids and then a toddler, and 2 girls and 1 boy. So I figured, we could put the toddler on the same level as the parents because, well, getting up there is going to be a pain in the butt, and actually was a pain in the butt when I went to play this house. But, once she's up there, she doesn't really need to go up and down any stairs, so to say. So, that's good. And I also put the boys' room on the same level, and I put the girls' room on the lower level. Because, well, I don't even actually know why I did that in particular, but, working on the kitchen right now, as you can see, I'm doing a little spice area, and I kind of have a feeling like you can never have too many spices, because, a lot of people have, like, a lot of spices, and, well, I mean, some people alphabetize their spices, so there has to be a lot of them, but, oh my goodness, funny story. So, I was in the car going somewhere, I don't even know where I was going, and I was listening to the radio, and they have one of those, question thingies that, where they give you a hint and you have to guess the answer. Well, I don't remember the exact number, but this particular hint was some percentage amount of people alphabetize this, and the first thing that goes through my mind is I'm thinking back at the show Good Luck Charlie, which now that I think about it, really, I don't know. I mean, that show was okay, but now that I'm thinking about it, really, I really don't like Teddy all that much because she just seemed like anti-nerd a little bit, and that was a little disturbing. But anyway, I just remember this one part where she asked her mom what her mom was doing, and her mom's like, "I'm just alphabetizing the kitchen spices." So that's like the first thing that pops into my mind, and that ended up being the correct answer. And I'm like, dang it, I should have called in. I would have won. Although, I don't know what happens if the first person that calls in is the one that gets the prize. Do they, fake it and give the hint anyway, and then just wait until, everybody else calls in? Or I don't know what the heck I'm even saying here. But, anyway, now we're moving on to the living room, and for this I really wanted to do something interesting with the bookshelves. And so, at first I was thinking I could do, the cabinets like a lot of people do. But then I decided that instead of kitchen cabinets, I could just use bookshelves on either end of the TV. But I still wanted something above the TV, and it was really annoying because I could not find something that actually matched the color of the bookshelves and the color of the little table thing I used there. And normally I don't really like complaining about things matching because it's just, in the grand scheme of things, it's just something that you just nitpick over, and it's not even worth it in my opinion. But this time I really just found it frustrating because I really kind of wanted a uniform feel to it, and I couldn't get that. So I decided to kind of play off of, the table that I put down and put in some of those richer tone there just to give it a little bit of an accent color, I guess. I don't even know. But I also decided to use the Moschino wall dividers because, well, I never actually use those. And I was trying to decide between the one with the plain one or the one with all the markings under it. And I decided, I had both in there at one time. And then I basically decided, you know what, I'm going to use the other one downstairs. And then, well, long story short, it didn't happen. I forgot about that. But, anyway, you guys, the piece I'm about to place in the corner in like 2 seconds, see, there we go. I thought about doing the orange, but then I really liked the one with the dark teal better because it just had like a pop of color, and really that's like my favorite swatch of that item. So, anyway, I'm supposed to be putting a regional spin on this voiceover, I guess, but I'm not really sure how the heck I'm supposed to do that. Am I like supposed to say like, okay, in my culture, you eat everything on a hot dog except ketchup, which is actually really kind of disgusting. How do people even eat Chicago-style dogs? I have absolutely no idea. The only thing I actually like on a hot dog is ketchup, so it's like, wait a minute, what? But anyway, back to the house. This floor plan is actually kind of like the inverse of what actually is on my house, because you've got the living room and the dining room are all one room, and I'm actually sitting in the dining room right now, fun fact. But, that's like all one room, and then, that's on the opposite side of the house. Like, if you're looking at the front, I think it's the left. No, that's the right. Sorry. Oh my goodness, not again. Anyway, you guys, and basically the kitchen in my house is its own little room. It has like little archways that you go in, but with this one I just made it a completely open plan, and in the floor plan there actually was the counters that went out into the little, diagonal, but I just made it like its own little island because, there's no way you can actually make it one big countertop and actually make it look good in this game. Also in my house, the garage is right below the living area. I'm actually sitting above it right now, and there's actually not any cars in our garage because it's filled with stuff. But anyway, there's a lot of time where we just walk into the house, not through the front door, but through the garage, just because half the time to get through the front door, you have to undo the lock, and I don't know, but we usually just go through the garage. And for a while we had to, because a group of wasps, I don't know, you call it a colony? I have no idea. I know you call it like a bee. I don't even know. But there's these wasps that decided to basically like build a nest into one of the porch lights like a couple years ago. And I just like walked out of my house and I just see, what the heck is that? That looks nasty. Oh, it's a wasp's nest. Okay. So I kind of put, the sign on there, beware of wasps. And I put that like on the door, when people come up and like ring the doorbell and stuff. Well, this one, a few months later, this one guy come up and he started mentioning it. It was like the first person that mentioned it. And we're like, my mom's like, yeah, you know what, they probably took off for the winter. But we really haven't had a problem with that again. So anyway, you guys, I am doing the boys' room now. And I kind of decided to go the route that he was an animal lover. Because I decided to give him the, the penguin wallpaper, because I've never actually done that before. But, I decided to actually go that route, and it was actually pretty cool, because, I was able to use some things that I really hadn't used. I guess I'm making this up on the spot, I don't even know. But we got, all the toys here, and that panda toy, he would do that because he would have that, my goodness, because he's just an animal lover. And, what else did I give him? I gave him the, My First Pet stuff, like, hamster things, because, if he was an animal lover, he would have, oh my goodness, okay, so my mom is, I'm sorry if you heard that, but my mom, we got our shower fixed the other day, and my mom is now, basically what involved is cutting a hole into the wall to access the valve, and she bought a panel for the valve, and now she's trying to, widen the thing to make it bigger so that the panel could fit. So I'm sorry if you heard that in the background. You probably didn't. Usually when people say that, I don't. But a lot of times when my dad is, putting dishes away, I don't think you can hear it. Then I listen to the voiceover back and there's dishes clanging in the background and I'm like, okay, what the heck is going on? So I'm sorry if you hear that noise, but there's nothing I can do about that. In other news, we got our fridge fixed this afternoon, so yay for that. We have a working fridge again. And as for the mini fridge we got, well, my mom was asking my dad, hey, what are you going to do with this? He's like, I'll just probably take it downstairs. And my mom pretty much knew that was going to happen, like, right away. So there was really no point in her asking that. But, yeah, so we still have the stuff in the mini fridge right now just because it hasn't even been 24 hours yet. And we're not exactly sure if the fridge is going to stay working. Well, we hope it will, but we just want to make like 100% sure in all of this stuff. So that's 2 out of 3 things that have been fixed, and I don't know when the heck the washer's getting fixed. I think like a belt broke in it. But anyway, I am decorating the toddler room right now. And I don't know why, when I think about it, why I put all the toys on the shelves, because it looks really cool in the pictures and all this stuff, but when you go to play it, they just put the toys away, and it's just, like, really annoying, because it's like, I went to the painstaking process of making sure it all looked good, and you just put it all away. What the heck is going on? So down here is the laundry room, or the utility room, and I pretty much kind of modeled it after my own. That is exactly the kind of light that we have in the utility room. It's not even funny, but we do have like a sink like that, which the guy who fixed the shower actually is the brother of the guy that does my hair. So, fun fact for you, but he actually commented on that because that was probably built along with the house, but I guess the plumbing for the shower was built then too, because guess what we can do now? We can flush the toilet and run the shower at the same time. And I don't know how long that's actually been a thing. You guys are probably looking at me like I'm nuts, like I'm really excited about that. But before, we could not do that because you know how they do that in like comedy and like TV shows and stuff. So I don't know how long that's actually been able to be possible, but we have that now. So I guess I'm like really happy. I no longer have to wait to flush the toilet. So now we've moved on to the daughter's room, and I just want to say I'm sorry that this room and the next room aren't as good as I usually do them, but by this point I was just so sick of this build, and I just wanted to get it done, and I was just not enjoying it at all, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm just going to wrap it up here because I was no longer having fun with it. And, you know, I realized that I have a whole week to do it, but I have a schedule. I'm trying to keep this schedule, and I didn't want to put it up on Wednesday because there's another collab that I'm not a part of that is going up that day, and this is going to get like lost in the shuffle if I do it on that day. And, you know, I really didn't want to play around with the schedule because that's how I got into this mess, you know? Like, this is why I record ahead, because I actually recorded this over the last 2 days, and I want to get it up on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. So, you know, I am never doing this at the last minute again, but between the Realm of Magic release, the real life stuff I have going on, and just me trying to figure out what the heck I was actually going to do for this thing, I really didn't have any other choice. But like I said, I am just recording ahead from now on, and it really was just a chore just to finish this, just because, you know, I kind of threw together the family activity room, and I kind of figured I could get away with it because maybe a lot of people in, like, the basement stuff probably do have some things thrown together, but I put a bar in there. I used the Realm of Magic bar because I've never actually used that before. But, I learned something from it, so it wasn't a wasted experience. Anyway, you guys, this build is pretty much wrapping up, so I'm gonna wrap up too. I really hope you enjoyed this build, hopefully more than I enjoyed making it at the end. But anyway, you guys, if you did, I would really appreciate it if you left a like and a comment, and don't forget to subscribe, and you can follow me on social media if you want to see behind the scenes, fun facts, and stuff like that. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at VisitJoan. And if you want to be up to date on my thoughts, everything Sims and whatnot, be sure to check out Twitter at VisitJoan Videos. And I'm going to be getting up out of here, guys, but I'll be seeing you later. Bye, everybody!